It was broad daylight when they handcuffed him, in the middle of the square, just for selling eggs. His own eggs, from his own hens. They pushed him against the patrol car like he was dangerous. Kids stared. Neighbors watched in silence. No one moved. But no one expected what would happen that night, because that man was not just a farmer. Comment below the city you're watching from. We'd love to know. Carl Morrison, 62 years old, had been raising chickens since he retired from the Army. After 30 years of service, all he wanted was peace, and maybe enough to pay the bills without relying on anyone. He lived on the outskirts of Pine Hills, a small, quiet town where everyone said hello, but very few really knew who you were. Every Saturday morning, Carl came to the town square with a basket full of brown eggs and a small sign, fresh, fair, from my yard to your plate. He never shouted, never bothered anyone, just sat with his folding chair and nodded politely to every passerby. That morning, something changed. A newly appointed city officer, young and overzealous, decided that Carl was violating the street vendor code. "License?" the officer asked. Carl explained calmly that he'd always sold there, that it wasn't a business, just a neighbor helping neighbors. But the officer insisted, then called backup, and before anyone could blink, Carl had handcuffs on his wrists and was being taken to the precinct. The eggs had shattered on the ground, leaking into the sidewalk. Some people recorded it on their phones. Most just looked away. A few snickered. At the station, Carl remained calm. He answered everything with yes, sir, and no, ma'am. He was booked, released without charges but humiliated. A man who had saluted presidents, now treated like a criminal over eggs. He walked home in silence. That night, just after 10:30 p.m., armored military vehicles began pulling up quietly outside the Pine Hills Police Department. No sirens, no shouting, just quiet, precise movement. 4 unmarked black SUVs, then 2 armored transports. The chief stepped out, confused. No one knew what was going on, until a woman in uniform got out and asked to speak to Major Morrison. Yes, Major Carl Morrison, former Special Operations Intelligence. Retired, highly decorated, still cleared for classified access. What no one knew was that Carl had recently been rehired as a strategic advisor to a federal logistics division, and he had quietly reported the arrest, not for revenge, but as a breach of local conduct that violated a specific civilian treatment statute related to military veterans. By morning, the town knew. The square was different. No one laughed. The same officer who cuffed him was temporarily reassigned. The mayor issued a public apology, and Carl, he returned to the square the next Saturday. Same chair, same basket, no uniform, just a kind man offering fresh eggs. But this time, no one questioned him. A girl left flowers beside his chair. A boy hugged him, and someone quietly taped a sign to the bench behind him. Respect isn't earned by badges. It's revealed by how we treat those who need none. If you made it this far, comment the word dignity below, because that's what this story is really about, and why it matters more than ever. There is a story here on the screen that will also move you. Press to watch, you won't regret it.